As a player, how do you feel about fantasy football?
I don't mind it. It actually gets people that don't normally watch football into watching football. So, it broadens our fan base. I get a bad rep for not liking it just because I poke fun at it a lot.
Last year, when you hurt the hamstring to start out the season, you weren't a big fan of people wanting you to come back and get back on the field only because of fantasy.
What kind of got me salty about that was that people were saying, yeah, I know you're hurt, bro. You're going to be ready for fantasy. Like, I don't care about your fantasy team. You know what I'm saying? Once you start looking at players as solely entertainment and disregard the fact that we're human beings, and after we entertain you, we go home to families, and there's little daughters and sons that come running up to us and hug us just like the regular average American.
How does a guy who rushed for 570 yards his senior year in college, 4 years later, become one of the best running backs in the NFL?
There's been a lot of people in my corner in Houston. I always give my offensive line a ton of credit. I've had a couple great fullbacks with me, Monte Leach and Lawrence Vickers and James Casey. Those kind of guys that just don't get a lot of the credit that they deserve.
Going back to that '09 draft, how motivated are you still by being passed up?
There's a certain part of you that always feels a little disrespected from it, but I think if you live in the past, that's where you're gonna find yourself. My goals and my aspirations individually have to do with the great running backs that have played this game. What kind of benchmarks did they set, and see if I can, touch them.
How do you top the performance and the production you've had in each of the last 2 seasons?
I don't think you try to top it. I think it's what's done is done. In this league, it's not what you've done in the past. You got to earn your keep every single day. You have to prove it to yourself. You have to prove it to your coaches. You have to prove it to your teammates every single day. You got to keep on, keep your foot on the pedal, and let's ride this thing until we can't ride no more.